Hi guys, it's Vicky with another 12 by 12 layout share. I actually have two layouts, so let's see if I can fit them both in this video. Okay, let me tell you, this simple little layout here took me forever, and it had me so aggravated and frustrated. Well, when that happens, I walk away from it for a while, maybe a couple of hours and sometimes a couple of days. But what I'll do is I put it up on my mantle and I'll just look at it. I'll look at it from afar. I'll pull it down and I'll set it up here on the coffee table and look at it and try to think, what's my next step? What does it need? Well, this thing sat around for 4 days. And I'll tell you how I started. I watched a video by R. Glad, and I'll put her channel name up here. And she did a layout using crepe paper. I think it was either crepe paper or tissue paper. And it was just so cute. So I knew I wanted to do that. Well, this background paper, which is from the Miss Caroline collection by My Mind's Eye, was just perfect because the blues matched her blue shirt, the reds matched that. This paper is also from the Miss Caroline collection, so that was a perfect blend. Then it was very easy because I had tissue. This is tissue paper, and this is crepe paper. So I had all the colors that kind of matched the flowers. So that all came together pretty easy. Then this was actually laying on my table because I had just bought it in the past couple weeks from Two Peas in a Bucket. And I noticed how that kind of matched and blended. And it was perfect because this is my great aunt. Now, her name is Lois, but my mom, when she was a little girl, couldn't say Aunt Lois, and she called her Annie. And that's what we all call her now. And it's spelled Auntie, but it's pronounced Annie. So you'll see, I really wanted that. That was an important thing to be on the layout. And when I got this little cardstock here that said, hello, my name is Annie. And see, I just took the number 7 and cut the top off of it and used that. So it says this is a long A, Annie. That all came together pretty easy. But that's all I could do. This, that part, not even this, and my journaling, which was very important because as I, leave this behind for my grandkids, my great-grandkids, whatever, I want them to know the story about her. So journaling was a must on this layout. But I sat here for 3 or 4 days. It just looked plain, and I did not know what else to do with it. I just felt like if I put any other embellishments, it was going to hide the natural embellishment of the flowers printed on the cardstock. So it really took me a long time, but I'm glad I didn't go on and stick it in my album because that's what I almost did with only this, and the journaling on there. I'm glad I waited. And here's why I told you this long story. Here's what I do. When I look at a layout and it just is not right, I keep it here in the family room with me. I put it up on my mantle where I'm sitting here on the couch, or when I go by it, I'll look at it, and sometimes something just comes to mind. I even pull it down in the mornings when I'm sitting here and I'm having my coffee. I'll get it down from the mantle and set it on my computer here in front of me and just look at it and see if there's, what comes to mind. Sometimes I'll even go through magazines to look at layouts and see if there's some type of technique or layering effect that would work. So that's just a little tip if you ever feel like you get stuck. And I know most of you know that, but I thought I'd share. Anyway, I eventually went on to add the little corners, and I'm really glad I did. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the pictures. This is me in 1979. I was 19 years old. And my girlfriend, well, I wasn't 19, I was 18. I wouldn't turn 19 until November. But my girlfriend and I had graduated high school, and we went on our first trip together. And we stayed in Florida for over, gosh, it was like either almost 3 weeks or a little over 3 weeks, but we was there for a while, and we stayed with her. This is the same woman, but 15 years later, that's what age does to you. And that's my Amy. So we stayed for about a week to 10 days with her, and the funny thing is, we're sitting on the same couch as my son, and Amy is sitting 15 years ago, or 15 years later. Look at my outfit. Talk about disco-rama. You girls think that you invented neon? Oh, no, no, no. This is 1979, and I was rocking some neon orange. Oh my gosh, I looked like I was going right to Studio 27 from here. And this is Amy and Eric, my son, in July of 1993. And you've got to, I'm going to zoom in here in a minute. By this time, she was very old and very sick. This isn't my aunt. This is my great aunt and my son's great great aunt. So she was my mom's aunt, and she was my grandma's sister. And she had Alzheimer, and it was just so sad to see, because you could see the spunk in her in this picture. And my gosh, she must have been, she had to be almost 70 years old in this picture. 70, 80, well, she was probably like 72 to 75, because she passed at 88 years old. So anyway, look at this picture when I zoom in. The poor thing doesn't have her brassiere on, and that's what she would have called it, her brassiere. She was kind of thrown together. My aunt was taking care of her, and she didn't want to get dressed in the mornings, and as thrown together as she was, her nails are beautiful. And it's just so funny, because the one thing I remember about Amy is she always dressed to a T, and she was always the sharpest, most beautiful, put together woman that you'd ever want to meet. She's like me. She's kind of short and voluptuous on a good day, but she used to work at Casual Corner. She just always looked so nice. And when we went down to visit her when Eric was 9, 10 years old, and I saw her, the one thing I was like, oh my gosh, look at her nails. She still kept her nails beautiful, even though she didn't know where she was half the time. It was just a sad process to see. And I mean, just even looking at the picture here, you can see she's there, but the life is just spun out of her, and she actually ended up passing away about 3 years after this picture was taken. Anyway, it is me and my son sitting with our Amy in Tampa, Florida. Now, let me tell you, I don't know who does the Hello, My Name Is card, but you can find it on 2 Peas in a Bucket. I'm not sure. This is Thickers, and it's from the Shoreline collection, but I forget the name of it. These little buttons here, these are down here are from Glitz Designs. I put a little wood clothespin. This is from Dear Lizzie Neapolitan collection. These I just picked up at the grocery store, the dollar store. I need to get more because this is fun. Up here is another little epoxy button from the Dear Lizzie Neapolitan line. And this is from Ready, Set, Go, I believe. No, Fifth and Frolic. And you'll see I just cut this with my little Martha Stewart doily lace punch. This is my scallop punch from Fiskars. And I guess let me zoom in now. Guys, I recorded this like 3 times, so whenever I do that, I always forget what I told you and what I didn't. So if I repeated myself, I apologize. Or if I didn't mention something, I apologize. And there's my little corner. I don't think that's too much at all. Look at the outfit. Satin, orange. It's kind of like a salmon satin neon short set. Don't be hating. And look at her fingernails, if you can see. They're gorgeous. And buddy, those are hers too. She passed over, gosh, maybe, it's been 15 years, I guess. Yeah, about 15 years. And you want to hear something funny? She was married to the same man her whole life, my Uncle Grover. And they lived in Mississippi, but they ended up moving to Cincinnati to find jobs and everything. And her and Uncle Grover used to fight like cats and dogs. But would you believe he passed like on a Monday and she passed on Thursday? The journaling reads, "This is our Aunt Lois. Everyone called her Annie, pronounced A-nie. She moved to Tampa, Florida in 1972, and she was quite the Spitfire, but you can really see her aging in these pictures." And here's another 12 by 12. I'll get a full view, and then I'll sit you down and tell you about everything, and then I'll zoom in. Well, why don't I zoom in first? Hang on. One last photo shoot. This is me and my friend. We were like, this is after I went to visit Annie after graduation, like the next year. This is myself and my mother. We were at Clearwater Beach in Florida at a hotel that was called the Lagoon. And I think this was 1980. Yeah, 1980. August and September of 1980. I'll have to tell you some stories about this trip. Let me sit you down. Now, the Thickers are from the Remarks collection. And this little piece of paper here, and oh, that's coming off. And this paper, and that paper, and that paper. All came from My Mind's Eye, the Rogue or Rue collection. It's spelled Rouge. It is the 6x6 pad of paper. I picked it up at Michael's. They carry that now. This is from, did that fall completely? I think it did. There you go, guys. That's how it's supposed to be. This had completely come unglued and had dropped down. But this is from the Modern Homemaker stack, and I think that this is from Farmhouse by October Afternoon. These little stickers are all from Jolie's, and it's the Hawaiian Tiki sticker set. This is also a border sticker, and there were 2 of these in the pack, but guys, I have had this for probably a good 6 to 7 years. I don't even know who makes it. I just cut these. I wanted to almost like a color block with this. And hang on, I'll look this up and share my inspiration with you. This was my inspiration for this layout. And once again, you can scrap lift something and you can't really see too much of the similarity between the two. But this is actually the kind of my jumping off point. And this layout is done by Stacy Cohen, Cohen. This is from the November-December issue of Creating Keepsakes, and this is page 24. I've actually seen Stacy Cohen, that name, on Pinterest. You'll notice that I've used a lot of layouts from the Creating Keepsakes magazine this month for inspiration and to scrap lift for my layouts. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it in this video or my other one for my 12 by 24 layout, but I just didn't have my scrapbook and mojo going. I just did my first layout today. It's my double page layout that I shared before. That's the first layout I've done in a good 10 days, if not more. So I wanted to scrapbook, but I just couldn't get those creative juices flowing. So thank heavens there were a lot of good layouts in this edition of Creating Keepsakes. I sure do wish that it was a monthly magazine again. You'll see I just matted my pictures on black cardstock to make it stand out. I used craft cardstock, and this is Recollections brand for the background. This is Tim Holtz from Ideology, and there were actually like 2 or 3 different types of trims in the little bag, the little package that this came in. I've had this for a good 2 to 3 years. I never thought I'd find a use for it. And I just hand journaled up here. This was one of my best friends growing up. And we were a wild pair together. If she didn't think of it, I did. And I'll tell you what, we were 19 years old. Yes, this was the year after the picture of me on Amy's couch, because I was 18 then and I'm 19 here. And my mom went with us, and I did most of the driving. My mom stopped driving when I turned like 17 years old. She gave up her license. Why, I don't know. We go to Florida about the second or third week in August. And both of us just loved Florida. We were single, we didn't have any kids, and we had planned to stay for 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. We got down there, and you wouldn't believe some of the stunts that her and I pulled to stay in Florida. Now, we were supposed to leave on a Tuesday to drive back to Ohio. Well, we had met some boys down there and we did not want to leave them. So, her and I came up with the idea to put some pebbles inside my, what's that called? It's on the outside hubcap. And tell my mom that something was wrong with the car and that the boys said we should not be driving long distance on the expressway until we got it checked. So we take her for a ride, and all those little pebbles, that gravel was just a clanking. So anyway, she calls around, and you know how it is. You can't always get your car in to get it checked. Finally, we get it into a garage like 2 days later. So now this has already given us a couple of extra days in Florida. And darn it, the guy says, "Oh, ma'am, there's nothing wrong with your car. You just had some gravel up in the hubcaps." So we figured we would stay for another day, and now we're going to leave on Saturday. Well, this wasn't planned, but on Friday night we went to a Howard Johnson's restaurant and had dinner, and it was really late. It was like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I had a bacon cheeseburger. I woke up in the middle of the night. Now remember, I'm doing most of the driving, and we're supposed to leave on Saturday. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was sick as a dog. I had got ptomaine poisoning. We think it was from the bacon, because probably what happened is they fried that bacon up early in the morning and then just set it off to the side. That's the only thing we can think of. Well, let me tell you, I was sick as a dog. If you've ever had ptomaine poisoning, you think you're getting ready to kick the bucket. So all of Saturday I was sick. All of Sunday I was sick. And then Sunday evening I started to perk up a little bit. So my mom was like, "My gosh, I'm going to lose my job." Now she has called her work, and she had been there forever. They weren't going to fire her. And my friend and I, we just had little odd and end jobs deciding what we was going to do. I didn't go right into college, nor did she. So Sunday I started to feel a little bit better. But I tell her, I'm still, and this was the truth on Sunday night. I'm dizzy, I'm lightheaded. I mean, I lost like 10 pounds in 2 days. I was so sick. So anyway, come Wednesday morning, I'm still saying, I don't think I can make that long drive. We were still going to the beach though, and we were still laying out in the sun. Now, my friend and I, before that happened, we was even going out enjoying the nightlife. I used to love to dance, and they had a place down there called Smuggler's Inn, and they played the best dance music. And then there was another place, a bar called, it was on Gandy Boulevard in Tampa, and it was called the ABC Lounge. Now, before I got ptomaine poisoning, we was out dancing every single night. And back then, the legal drinking age was 19 in Florida. In Ohio, you could drink 3-2 beer at 18. I don't know if any of you remember 3-2 beer, but it was a beer that wasn't as strong. But in Florida, you were legal. You could drink mixed drinks. And I've never been a beer drinker. I like to have myself an alcoholic beverage back then. Now I don't drink at all. But we had a blast. Now, after, I got sick and stuff, I couldn't very well go out at night dancing and drinking, or we'd have had our butts on I-75 North driving home. See, by Wednesday or Thursday, I'm still saying, Mom, I just don't think I can make that drive. So we actually ended up spending almost 30 days in Florida, from gravel in the hubcaps to me getting ptomaine poisoning and me really amping it up that I was so dizzy I might pass out if I was driving 50 miles an hour on the expressway. But we just had the best time. And I'll never forget that summer, Rick James, Super Freak. That song was so popular. I wish I had just a nickel for every time I danced to Super Freak in Tampa and Clearwater, Florida. But this picture was taken on our very last day there, and we were so sad. They used to have a sign there as you entered Clearwater Beach, and it said, "Welcome to Clearwater Beach." And I was climbing up to sit on top of this little hill and have my picture taken. And my mom was like, "If you fall down, I don't care if you break every bone in your body, we're going home today." So this was really a sad time because we were going to take the pictures and pack up and leave. And it says, I don't know why we were smiling, because this was our last day in Florida. We were at the Lagoon Hotel on Clearwater Beach. And then it just says our names there. So what a great time we had. And I've got more pictures from this trip. And gee, this is how many years ago? Almost 33 years ago. And it seems like maybe 20, but certainly not 33 years ago. So I'll have to tell you more stories as I scrapbook the pictures. Guys, thanks for watching, and thank you all so much for always leaving such nice comments. And it's good to be back on YouTube, and it's good to have my mojo back. I'll be back soon.